Wolf has been talking a lot about how in Korea Volskaya has not really played a lot. Now, of course, by now everyone, all the teams should know, okay, focus on the items, try to get the map control here, and the superior mechanics that we have on the Korean side should help them with that. But it's still a bit of a personal preference that might give Mindfreak a slight edge here.
Ban Maiev, please.
Please.
Like, just give in.
Ballistix are absurdly good with Genji, but they lost both games they picked Genji yesterday. They have so far not lost with Maiev for good reason. I would absolutely agree with you that Maiev was a huge factor in that last win.
Well, I also just think that Mindfreak in particular isn't prepared to deal with that hero. There's too many times when someone might just be a couple steps out. When you're a couple steps away and a Maev's able to pull you in and that target's blown up, you're suddenly in a 4v5 and you're waiting for cooldowns of that. Thank you. Yes. Okay, step one's done.
Mindfreak gonna win.
It's over, guys. It's over.
I mean, that still gives Malfurion then over to Ballistix, and it doesn't come as a surprise that they immediately take that chance and pick him up here. I'm still waiting for that aha moment, for that wow factor with Mindfreak, where they put something out that just surprises us.
I don't care if they dreamed
what
of
they're known for.
Yeah, if they dreamed of a comp last night, let's run it. I don't even care if they haven't practiced it before. Let's just, this is a map or a team that they're probably going to lose against. It's Ballistix, right? Let's be realistic here. So let's just go up.
I mean, it's of course also one of the things that we asked them when we talked to them, and they have stated over and over again, yeah, we have some strategies prepared. The only reason that I can really see why they haven't used any of them yet is that they really believe that even with that surprise factor, they can't take down a Korean team. But with Tempo Storm just really stepping it up in the group, it's still going to be very difficult. Yeah. And also their thought process was that with one of those strategies, they can take surprise wins against strong teams, whereas against the One and against Tempo Storm, they were in a position where they said, we might use our strategies there, but by the time we face them, we have seen them play within the tournament, we know a little bit about their meta, and we might be able to just counter them by studying them and countering their strategies that they've shown here so far.
If you're hiding stuff against Ballistix, and we know Tempo Storm have already beat Ballistix, if your entire strategy to make your way through the groups is to just beat the One, that's not going to work. So I am with Drexler. Where is that aha factor?
Yeah.
I also kind of am wondering about this Muradin becoming a bit higher priority for them. I feel like this is a result of Fnatic just kind of beating them really heavily with Muradin. And they're like, wait, that hero's kind of good. We should probably run that hero. And I feel like they're putting a lot of priority on him when they don't really need to.
I mean, up until recently, they seem to a lot prefer Stitches, but they are trying to adjust to the meta. But the question is, does the Muradin fit into everything? Have they got it figured out which drafts it works with yet?
Muradin is doing extremely well at the tournament so far as a main tank, and that has been predicted by the few teams that really feel that his survivability, but also the stun in general, is as a setup for follow-up chains, is going to be really strong here, especially with everyone still questioning, okay, where can we play Diablo? He isn't as oppressive anymore. And when we look at part 2 of phase 1, we had a lot of priority on Diablo and Garrosh. Garrosh is still consistently banned out, but Diablo has fallen off a little bit, and that allows Muradin, amongst other things, to just jump up in priority again.
Well, Tracer and Johanna coming out.
Yep.
SC on Tracer.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, there are concerns about the survivability of Mindfreak at this point. The Genji Tracer matchup, always good. How good is the hold command of SCSC? Probably pretty good, so in theory Tracer should not have too much trouble.
I've been listening to them, trying to draft, and it's like listening to 5 skimmies all at once, just blasting each other. It's fantastic. Thankfully, they can't hear me saying this, so that's great, but it's been a pleasure.
So, ban for Ballistix with Muradin, Genji. They already have Malfurion. Just probably safe to ban out the Uther, something like that, to prevent the quick loss they could get to perhaps a Divine Shield Dragon Blade, something that is a little bit out of their own control.
What are we thinking for offlane for Mindfreak? They ban out Blaze, so they could have picked up Blaze for themselves, and with them now getting rid of the hero, are we going to see the Haka again for them?
I wouldn't mind it with Blaze gone. Sonya's also still open, so potentially grabbing that too could also be reasonable. Stukov getting banned out.
I'm personally a huge fan of Blaze on Volskaya. I really think the additional survivability and that added layer of defense that it gives you is fantastic for the objective fights. But Mindfreak was willing to ban him out, and now I'm super curious to see what they're going to throw in on the offlane. Now we've seen Thrall being played on the map, the Haka fits here as well. So I'm curious to see if they get one of those options. But all of them I would, in general, as a general basis, still consider to be inferior to Blaze.
What are your thoughts on the potential for an offlane variant here? Potentially trying to grab that and going with the full Q heal. Deckard is the healer. That's going to be risky against the Tracer burst. But variant to perhaps try and lock down the Tracer and then go for another burst hero alongside the Genji?
Not really the biggest fan. We don't see it all that much in Europe. We have seen a lot from the Chinese teams actually here at the event, and it hasn't really done a lot for them. So normally with variant, either on offlane or if you're trying to play him in the main tank role, you're trying to get that huge power spike between level 4 and level 10 to give you a lead, and that has not worked for any of the teams that have chosen variant here, so I'm a bit skeptical on that part.
You can't forget about the wave clear.
Exactly.
They need wave clear on this team.
As you alluded to, Kaudo, there is the Thrall. That could be in the solo lane. They can run it outside the solo lane, but they've opened themselves up to be flexible in their last pick, so that's pretty reasonable.
Thrall's just perfect for this battleground, being able to double soak once you finish off your couple of quests. You're good to go in there. You can come to team fight, drop an Earthquake, poke a lot as well with the Chain Lightning.
You could Sunder Tracer if she hasn't used her recall yet. You can potentially really lock her down.
Just continuously Chain Lightning Tracer after you have Echo completed is already worth a lot. As a point and click, you can't also miss that thing, so it's actually, it can be very annoying for Tracer. In that case, we have of course Malfurion with the setup, so it's going to make it a bit more difficult, but at least you apply some pressure already.
Yeah, burn Malfurion's mana out, continue to poke, force him to heal consistently. I am digging it. So Ballistix, they still need an offlaner of their own, so someone who can really match up to Thrall. That's a good one. Zeratul put a lot of pressure on, just clean the lane out with Rending Cleave, and Li Ming to add even more burst alongside that Tracer.
Now Zeratul is actually interesting because his interaction into Deckard Cain is pretty fun to watch, since he is of course a target, but at the same time, if you play well with your zone control on Deckard, you can really lock Zeratul down hard. We have seen that when Method played, and Kirsten is actually a huge fan of playing Deckard into Zeratul, and said that whenever Zeratul tried to make any kind of plays, he just was able to shut that down immediately. So there's a lot of kill potential now on Ballistix side, but there are also tools that Mindfreak has to shut those down if they play properly. But then again, it comes down to the question of execution, and that's where the Koreans just simply excel.
Especially with how deceptively tanky Deckard Cain is, being the resistance up and that cooldown reduction by being near teammates. You are able to just pop those heals as Zeratul comes in. The idea is that you're trying to get the heals on you rather than the opposing teammates of Deckard Cain. Well, Chromie come in here for our 5th pick here. So Mindfreak gonna try the Chromester once again.
I'm having a whale of a time listening to this draft over there. At one point, I hear Benjamin saying Lily is looking hot right now for the last pick. I hear when they lock in the Chromie, he's like, GG, we've won the draft, easy peasy. Just
Chromie,
I had to hold in a lot of laughs.
Is not doing well this tournament, by the way.
And especially not in this duo with Genji.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have with 4 games, 3 losses. Not really a recommendation so far.
On your rainbow meter, from like 1 to 5
Rainbow
rainbows,
meter.
how creative is this draft from MF? Is this what you want, or did you want even more?
More rainbows. Violet. Like, not even violet. Like, someone just dropped some ink on the paper and we're like, yeah, it's violet. It's good to go.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
I said, all right, I want your predictions then.
To be honest, I would really love him to draft one composition.
Can I?
Lava Wave, Ragnarok.
This could be in the All-Stars.
It'd be an instrument for any team, so
maybe one on the offlane. Ask Mindfreak if they want to coach.
Yeah?
No.
I'll drop in, man. I'll drop some knowledge bombs. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm excited.
Should be an All-Star.
This won in Hero League twice in the last year. Let's do this. Let's go. It'd be awesome. All right, I'm going Ballistix because I'm not coaching.
There you go.
I would also go Ballistix if he was coaching. So yeah, I'm sticking with Ballistix.
Okay.
I could be really mean to say I would especially go Ballistix if he was coaching, but
that's okay.
I'm going with Ballistix anyway. Yeah, the draft looks good.
Yeah. Thanks. All right, so we have got a 4 sweep there to get things going, and now we're going to see what Twitch chat thinks. But 40-60. Hey, you know, that's not bad. You know, all those people in Australia staying up at 5 a.m. in the morning, whatever it may be.
It's 11:43 right now. Okay, is the time right?
Is it?
Some of them just lost hope after the first game and went to bed.
Yeah,
I guess. Well, we can check in with the commentators, of course, as we do have another Australian there. He's not Australian. I keep doing that. Okay, I'll say you're from Madagascar again, mate. That's fine.
He knows.
Yeah, that's the one.
So I gotta ask you, Skimmy. do you consider New Zealand part of the Australian continent?
You know, we have better internet than Australia, so I would like to say that we're separated.
Is it just part of Australasia? Yeah?
I mean, it is, but for this argument's sake, I want to beat Wolf at one thing.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, enjoy having the Australia continent available to you. Have fun.
Well, here we go. Game number 2 in a showing which was, what, 19 kills to 0? Once again, a very brutal affair for the Australian team Mindfreak. And they're going to come into this one with, once again, a very unconventional strategy. I think it follows the same idea of what Kato was saying. They're looking to try and hide as many strategies as possible, going into the rest of this group to see what they can do against teams that revealed a whole bunch. But coming into this one, Mindfreak, the boys from down under, this time it's John on Chromie. Fat94 does, in fact, get his Genji that he's been so hungry for. Penta Unleash on Muradin, Ryu on Brawl, and Vanilla on Deckard Cain.
And for the red side here, Ballistix, Magi on Malfurion, SC on Tracer. Always a pleasure to watch. Hooligan on Johanna. Junga on the Zeratul, an old favorite. And SDE on Li Ming. So broadening the hero pool yet again here, SDE. So my biggest question going into this is, can Ballistix break the record? Because we saw 19-0 last game, but this time we've got a Zeratul against a Chromie composition with Tracer on the side of Ballistix as well. So you're really, really pushing the boundaries here of what Chromie can do when you're playing against such a comp that's got so much dive potential. And sure, the Johanna's not going to be great against the Chromie in terms of damage, not even that great against Genji in team fights, but good sustaining with the Malfurion pick. Team fights on the objectives themselves, going to be very difficult.
They even picked the Chromie after the fact of seeing a Zeratul and a Li Ming locked in, so it's almost a little bit of fan service really for all the players back home in ANZ that are frustrated by Chromie in their Hero League games, but also Deckard Cain, Vanilla, knowing how he was a sort of a player going into the Intercontinental Clash to even qualify for this. He said, look, I've never played the hero, I don't plan to play the hero, but that has changed. I'm going to be really curious and really excited to actually see what kind of performance he can output compared to what we've seen at this tournament so far.
Yeah, it's tough to see where this goes for Mindfreak right now. I mean, it's an unusual map pick, but they gave up first pick in the draft for it. And with this draft so far, I don't see anything that screams, I like this strat, or this is a Volskaya specific comp. And
neither do I, personally. I mean, once again, it sounds like I'm beating a dead bush, but it really is a case of we're just going to play some heroes that we have some fun with. It's that carefree attitude. We feel that we're completely outmatched. But there is a deep part of me that is concerned and just saddened that they aren't trying as hard as they have in the past.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of Nomia, we haven't seen the Australia-New Zealand region get out of group stages at big international events. And it's rough when you're up against one of the best teams in the world and a BlizzCon champion, Eastern Clash champion in Ballistix. But it also comes with, oh, that's a bad wolf miss there. That's actually a kill, fortunately for Ryu. But it comes with the territory when you're a region that's really, I mean, unsuccessful historically in international events against a team that has titles. You don't want to show everything. And I know, you know, Ryu and I are kind of beating the dead horse with this, but yeah, it's just how it goes sometimes. And sometimes you do have to have realistic expectations. Seeing the Q build come in here for Zeratul, so there's going to be a lot of, if this game goes late, potential healing once we get post 20. I don't know if that's the kind of game we're about to watch, if I'm honest with you guys, but let's see what Deckard Cain can do here, because Deckard Cain can shut down a lot of what Zeratul's trying to do in the early game if the stuns connect, if the slows are there. He did, of course, upgrade that at level 1. Not going to connect with that Scroll of Sealing this time. Already control going over to Ballistix of this first control point. They do have that top camp pushing, which is one nice thing for Mindfreak right now as this point is contested.
I'm just looking at all the different picks that Mindfreak have and just wondering really how are they going to try and set things up here to find that one kill, try and break this deadlock that they've been so hungry to try and go through. And maybe that's a bit of an idea behind the whole Chromie and Genji style of play. It's, well, we will one-shot you. If we can get that one kill, then that is a bit of a confidence boost for us. They try and make some aggression happen onto SD, but the punishment as the Reflect expires, the damage connects, and Vanilla dropped to half. The turret has been now placed by Mindfreak on this point. But point A is very much so in control of Ballistix, like 65% and rising.
Yeah, and they couldn't actually capitalize on the turret. The turret was well placed, but unfortunately Ballistix disengaged. The turret was mostly attacking minions there. Looks like this might be a 100-0 as Ryu gets on it. He wants to set up for that overtime at least. But look at the setup here. Coming through from Hooligan, pops the Iron Skin, walks forward casually, gets the 3-man stun there. And now the turret placed here for Ballistix just to make sure they can end this overtime. Ryu avoids death initially, but the Pulse Bomb will catch him. Fat94 looks like he might not find himself being so lucky either. Does get out, and they do trade this, their first kill of the series, but the bigger story here is they're a level down now, and they've lost this important objective.
That they have. I suppose the question for me, Wolf, from a Korean perspective, is how much fun do they really actually have with this match? And how aggressive do some of these players start to get? You know, Tracer and Genji, the Reflect, will do a lot of work if SCSC gets a little bit too aggressive into that back line. So I start to wonder, you know, it's not going to be overconfidence by any stretch of imagination, but if they are going to be like, look, we can just have some fun, we can get some kills, we can do stuff that we cannot against other teams, is there a window where Mindfreak get a few kills?
You really mentioned this earlier. You said it's kind of it's got to feel revitalizing after losing the tempo, and not maybe expecting as much from tempo as we now know. Their power level is much higher than expectations were. It feels great to be able to play these flashy heroes where you have the ability to show off your skill ceiling with heroes like Tracer and Zeratul. But great point you make with both Tracer and Li Ming heavily countered and damaged by Deflect. You do have to be careful. You do need to respect one of Fat94's best heroes here. We're seeing so many great condemns out of Hooligan here. He actually uses the Iron Skin preemptively, knowing the Scroll of Sealing was going to be the follow-up there. Love seeing moves like that. Mindfreak's got an opportunity to look for a pick here with the Power Spike for Chromie. SDE is the target. They are going to get him. This is right before 10. This is exactly what they should be looking for. Penta, enough health here to survive through that Pulse Bomb. Can they get more is the question. It doesn't look likely, but they're finding small windows here before 10 to get picks.
Absolutely, and that's so crucial for them, as the next point will be up at point B, top lane. But the ability for them to find those kills is empowering at the very least, which can be rather demoralizing otherwise, but with a composition like this, which is looking to execute, they managed to execute and are already finding more kills than they have between 2 of their series so far in the MSB.
Yeah, and I do really like that you pointed out that Ballistix is being hyper-aggressive here. Mindfreak is, I think if they can continue to capitalize and punish on these overextensions, they've got a window back into this game very realistically here. Level 10 just around the corner for them. They're avoiding taking a fight. Pre-10, love this. Grab the siege camp. Just play passively. Sure, you gave up the healing cap, but this is something that you just have to give up at this stage.
It's going to be so rough, though, for Mindfreak to come into this next point, though, because Mindfreak, they'll hit 10. That's fantastic. You're on an even talent tier, but look at what Ballistix have in their pockets. 2 biotic emitters, so 2 healing pulses and 2 turrets. Then you've got a minion wave and a mercenary wave pushing that top lane as well. So you're trying to push into that. Yeah, you've got burst. Yeah, you've got the ability to try and funnel through and find that kill, but just the point control from Ballistix is through the roof.
I think this needs to be a stay a while and listen fight. If you can get the sleep off and blow someone up with Chromie, then the Dragon Blade comes out. You then can use, once Chromie's cooldowns are up, another temporal loop to get a second pick. I think it has to be the setup with Deckard Cain, though. That has to be how you get this fight here. Temporal loop to start it off. Jungle's the target here, but look at this Condemn coming through. Chromie's already dead, so they can't get those combos. Ryu's dead as well. Void's up. And Skimmy, this looks like this fight is over.
It is indeed a triple kill to start things off with, and they just execute and they have fun with it, playing with fire. And they just burn through the health balls of Mindfreak in matters of seconds, as they now turn their attention onto this middle fault, looking to open up the map, get some more structural advantages, and hit level 13 as we lead into control point number B.
I mean, in both of these games, I think I have to give my MVP to Hooligan. I mean, he's on the ETC, he was able to flank, accept so many good team fights previously on Cursed Hollow. Now on this map, he's able to just absolutely dominate with the Iron Skin, setting up these fights where Chromie goes in, gets a temporal Luke, hits the combo, but he sets up for an insta-kill. The blow-up, follow-up is there, and then suddenly they can't even use Stay a while and listen. It's just really been using the Iron Skin more than anything else to set up these fights, get these big condemns. Mindfreak needs to play around it, needs to spread against it a little bit better.
They do indeed, but it seems that they've kind of almost accepted their fate as they are busy clearing lanes. You've got Fat94 rotating up from the bottom lane right now. Ryu was sitting pretty in the mid lane as well. A 2-level deficit for them at this stage. And to reiterate my point from before, the amount of control that Ballistix have of all these healing and turret potentials. Very tough. Unless, as you say, that stay a while, unless it can start something off special.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, I think, how they have to open up here, but getting Decker Kane against this dive from Zeratul and Tracer, getting him into position is so difficult because the armor's going to do a lot for you, slow's going to do a lot, but the burst, you know, he has no escape out of that.
Temporal loop, though, they're looking for that one-shot potential, and there we'll find it as Fat94 does Fat94 things, dashing on
There's
through.
The sleep.
But look how many healing turrets there are. 4 different pulses going off at once, and not a single bit of health is lost here by Ballistix in that counter trade.
I mean, that just shows the power of items on this map, an exclusive thing to these Overwatch maps. Penta's going to get out here, but as you say, the turret's fantastic here for Ballistix to just out-sustain with the heal. There's just too much damage. Zeratul, the burst was gone when he died, but after that, it's just too much sustained damage. This is going to be a dead fort. And Mindfreak, this is, I think, their best game of the tournament so far. They are utilizing this comp actually better than many other teams have, using the temporal loops quite well, but Ballistix already had that macro advantage. They used it to get the items. You're going to see Gunners swapped here.
Yeah, got to make sure that SCSC has free reign to roam the map and follow up with Jongho here, as they can be menaces. With the mobility that they have to try and pounce upon any single target. You're looking at Decker Kane, you're looking at Chromie, you're even looking at Genji to some point.
You really are. I mean, you're so right about that. Fat94, he's got escape options, but not if he gets Blessed Shielded. Okay, does avoid this one, but the Condemn comes through. Sleep here defensively, but Vanilla gets blown up.
You can't sleep a robot. He's going to keep rocking on through and just punch you in the face to take down Vanilla.
Feels like the beginning of the end here.
It does.
And I don't mean to be a downer on this one, but the changes obviously to the objective here, the Triglav Protector, makes it more powerful in the late game. They've got that talent tier advantage of 16. They're again just going to item farm here. Huge opportunity to get a blow up, but it's Magi who they hit too much health.
Oh, the amount of control there to try and contest that turret. And I was just going to make a point about it that Ballistix has done a fantastic job all game. You said macro was being on point for Ballistix, and it has. A 3-level lead. Absolutely, because if we're looking at those kills, 3 to 6, doesn't really paint much of a story, but in terms of structures, the macro has been on point. But to really, I suppose, flesh this whole argument out, they've gone for the turrets, they've gone for support camps, time and time again, on repeat, on cooldown. And it just gives them so many opportunities to utilize those items to always come ahead in fights.
Yeah, I mean, when you have turrets, it's almost like adding half a member to the team. It's like you're fighting a 5.5 versus 5 fight, or then a 6 versus 5 fight if you've got 2. And it just stacks up because the turret's so tanky. It does consistent damage. I mean, you have enough turrets, you make the Tychus laser drill feel sad. Like, it's irrelevant comparatively. I mean,
it's been for a long time. 6.5 out of 10. I wanted to drop it, I'm sure. You don't want to hear it, but there we go. Decker Kane getting deleted, and he did not want to stay a while on this. In that case, as Penta gets denied with a beautiful Condemn from Hooligan to ensure that they find that kill. And that's going to be the temporal loop. Can they get the one shot onto Jongha this time? Yes, they can. Delayed as it may have been, they do finally find it. A 2-for-1 trade here, but that's really the best chance Mindfreak have, playing off this temporal loop. And it's very one-dimensional, but it is netting them some kills.
Yeah, and we have to point out, too, that the skill shots from Li-Ming missed there. Actually used a little bit too early to just connect with the Void Prism, not actually doing damage to the Stasis heroes inside. So there were things that Ballistix could have done a little bit better in that last fight. Mindfreak, they walk away from this with all keeps up. And I think that's the most important thing, is they still have 3 keeps, and as long as there's 3 keeps, you can come back in a game. And this goes back to what we were saying about Mindfreak wanting to play for the late game, look for those late game team fights. If they can open up a fight with a Chromie pick, even if that's all they get and they disengage, when the death timers get longer, you get more opportunities out of that. Maybe then they could finally start to get control of the items on the map. There's a lot of ifs, but I think really that's what they're playing for here.
Well, let's be realistic, Wolf. I mean, every single game they've played thus far has ended sub 15 minutes, and you're not looking at those big 20 power spikes. You're not looking at those big 40, 50-second respawn timers where you can abuse a 1 skirmish or a 4v5 situation. So we're coming into control point C now. Arguably the hardest, the funnest, the sushi train, where you can drop these pots, these healing pots, and utilize some mobility, but have some healing on dispense at a moment's notice, just like that. But level 16 is going to be the big point here for me to talk about for Mindfreak as they go into this next control point with a tier advantage.
I mean, what they're looking for here, Hooligan up in the front, trying to set up for this fight. Really, they're just fighting over this turret. Now, Mindfreak's going to get it, it looks like here, but the cost is going to be control of the control point itself. Zeratul heads down there and takes it, so Jungha's just on control point duty. Is going to hide himself here, actually. Great reveal here coming through by John to make sure that they were able to identify where he was. And Ballistix is going to take a slow fight here. They want to avoid getting picked with those longer death timers now. Patience is the key. Jungha dives in here, threatening John. Oh!
The Arcane Orb was pretty spicy, but now they've got the reset with that Void Prism coming in down. Straight away, the Earthquake to try and slow the assault. But will there be enough? Timeout comes out very early on. He tries to stay a while and listen, but he doesn't because he's the one that's dead. Fat94 looking to try and get a trade across onto Zeratul, the focal point for much of Mindfreak's attention. But he's going to be the sole survivor as Penta does whatever he can to run and gun and avoid these turrets, but they're on the hunt, and SCSC with the rest of the crew in tow will get the 5-man ace here, Wolf.
Yep, gets the full ace, and that's going to be the full completion on this control point. Death timer's getting longer, as mentioned before, so no one can contest. SC's just going to stand on it here. He's probably got his hand off the keyboard right now, knowing everyone is dead. They're going to grab this support camp to get the biotic emitter. Top camp continues to push. Ballistix is just a few minion waves away from 20. At this stage, Ballistix has already unfurled the red carpet. They just need to walk down it to victory.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen Mindfreak get a few picks. That was a really cool execution of the defense on that fight. We saw a pick come through onto Zeratul once more. Turrets were placed. Fat94 was able to grab that kill, but just overall, they're fighting, I think, with one hand tied behind their backs. So the talent tier disadvantage, the scaling disadvantage. They're fighting against the Triglav Protector again.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to take a miracle to come back here, and we haven't seen any miracles from this team just yet. Not in this tournament, not in this group stage.
Not so far, as Ballistix have everything that they need to push and go for the win. They have the Triglav Protector, they have a biotic emitter, and they have a turret, not to mention the biggest one. They have that Storm tier talent as they smash straight through onto that one. Blessed Shield follows up the Hand of God as they lock Decade Kane in place once again. Now onto John himself, and he has no timeout. He has no chance to stay a while, and he has no chance to stick into this fight as two members already have fallen on down from Mindfreak. Zeratul once again, Jungha Ritter, the member they're looking to try and take down is SDE, actually toying with fire. Eventually Fat94 finds that kill, but they were left in a situation where it's just two bruisers up against the Protector. Arguably Mindfreak's best chance at defense, but this is running straight towards the core.
Yeah, I mean, 20 seconds left on this Triglav. They have Tracer in there, so they've got pretty decent damage. Ryu does not have Earthquake. This is something they could potentially defend here, but it's just going to be so difficult. We're at 17 minutes in. 10 seconds left on this. The respawn for Deckard's going to come out, but he doesn't really have much damage he can put off. Hooligan has that indestructible as well, so looks like this is going to be a slow and painful death.
Oh!
Sailwild, though, hits all three. Perfectly timed. There's the combo coming in from Chromie.
Magi very low. Scholar is going to connect with him as he unbinds that ice block, but it's not going to be enough because the core is going to fall on down. SCSC so damn elusive with those blink charges to bolt around the map, and just like that, Ballistix coming to day number 2 with a 2-0.
You know, I feel like we